important is freedom of the press? What if one of the largest trusted news sources in your city was facing a government-ordered shutdown? How would you react? Even as we speak, the people of Hong Kong face the threat of losing press freedom after the highly regarded newspaper, Apple Daily, could be just days away from having to shut down after the Chinese Communist Party ordered a raid on the publication. Apple Daily recently had their assets frozen by the city's government, which has taken harsh action against the pro-democracy tabloid since the communist regime imposed the national security law on Hong Kong last June. On June 17, hundreds of Hong Kong police officers raided Apple Daily's headquarters and also arrested 5 senior executives for alleged violations of the national security law. According to Hong Kong Free Press, National Security Unit Senior Superintendent Steve Lee stated that the operation, launched at 6 a.m, involved a staggering 500 officers. It is becoming very apparent that the Hong Kong national security law overrides local laws that protect people's freedom and rights, an Apple Daily piece describes. Even news reports and commentaries that are based on facts could be regarded by the enforcement agencies to be treading the red line, and therefore lead to investigations, prosecutions, arrests and charges. Once under prosecution, news workers are almost left with no defence or protection. The raid was conducted on the alleged offence that Apple Daily had published 30 articles since 2019 calling foreign powers to impose sanctions on Hong Kong or China. When Lee was asked whether the articles were news or opinion pieces, the officer did not give a direct reply. The nature of the articles is very simple, just inciting, requesting the foreign country to impose sanctions on Hong Kong and the People's Republic of China. Very straightforward, Lee claimed in his comments to HKFP. When questioned as to whether people who shared the articles are also violating the NSL, Lee claimed that the police would look at their intention but gave the public an ominous warning. As a law enforcer, I have some advice for people. Do not draw suspicion to yourself if it is not something you wish to spread. In a June 21st article, Apple Daily wrote that Hong Kong police had ransacked strictly protected news materials and snatched away more than 40 computers. The searches and arrests had resulted in psychological distress to staff, adding that the company's journalists are now much more concerned about crossing the red line as part of their reporting. This could have severe consequences in the accuracy and trustworthiness of the paper, as Apple Daily has been shown as regarded as a trusted source of news by citizens in several surveys. The paper is also quite influential. According to a Reuters poll conducted in 2019, Apple Daily ranked 3rd in highest weekly reach in the city among print media, with its website having the 2nd highest reach among online media. During the raid, police officers took control of reporters' computers, copying their data. Journalists were instructed to leave the editorial department, and their movements inside the building were restricted. When some reporters tried to film the raid, the police blocked them. According to Lee, $18 million worth of assets belonging to 3 companies tied to Apple Daily have been frozen. The newspaper really is in an unprecedented crisis. An article by Apple Daily states that the publication could be just days away from having to shut down. The board of directors of Apple Daily's parent company, Next Digital, met on Monday, June 21st, and decided to levy a final decision on how to handle the crisis on June 25th. The board has sent a letter to John Lee, the city's Secretary of Security, requesting the government unfreeze a portion of the company's frozen assets as to pay their employees. If the Friday meeting concludes with a decision to cease operations, Apple Daily would print its last paper on Saturday, and its website is also expected to stop updating early in the morning. An internal memo sent to employees by Apple Daily management and obtained by HKFP stated that employees were free to resign without any formal notice in light of the grin situation. Employees who are working outside the office or are on leave can first leave a message and later submit a formal resignation letter. The management's wish is for everyone to do their work proudly until the very end, but it is hard to estimate the risks. To leave or not is up to people to decide. For those who remain, we still hope to meet Apple's standards and spare no effort in completing our work, the memo stated. Apple Daily employs around 600 journalists. Mark Simon, an advisor to Jimmy Lai, told Reuters that some of the staff members have received threatening calls from unknown sources. "Our staff are now just worried about personal safety," he said, adding that the publication might shut down in a matter of days. Apple Daily was founded in 1995 by entrepreneur and activist Jimmy Lai. The publication is owned by his company Next Digital. Lai is one of the prominent figures in the city's pro-democracy politics and a strong critic of the Chinese Communist Party. He is currently serving a 20-month prison term for his involvement in the 2019 Hong Kong democracy protests. The arrested executives during the June 17 raid include 4 men and 1 woman. 3 of them are from Apple Daily, including its editor-in-chief, Ryan Law, associate publisher Shan Pur Man, and manager of the newspaper's online platform, Shung Chi Wei. 2 of them are from Next Digital, which include its CEO, Chung Kim Hung, and Chief Operating Officer, Royston Chow. The United States government has formally condemned the arrests of these 5 executives, calling for their immediate release. US State Department spokesman Ned Price called the foreign collusion charge against Apple Daily politically motivated. "We are deeply concerned by Hong Kong authorities' selective use of the national security law to arbitrarily target independent media organisations. As we all know, exchanging views with foreigners in journalism should never be a crime," Price said, according to Associated Press. Pro-democracy media outlets in Hong Kong have increasingly been facing attacks as of late. In April, the printing warehouse of independent media outlet, the Epoch Times, a vocal critic of the Chinese Communist Party, was ransacked by a gang of 4 masked and armed men. A month later, a reporter with the outlet was attacked with a baseball bat in broad daylight. The Hong Kong Journalists Association expressed anger over the Apple Daily incident. "Press freedom is a core value of Hong Kong's success, and we will never tolerate any threats of violence against the media and journalists," the organisation said.